When we think of diversity and inclusion in our organizations, there are two things that we normally think about, and both are problems. The first is that we tend to think of diversity only in terms of women and culture. And of course, there are many other types of diversity as well. In fact, the real heart of diversity that brings business benefits is actually a diversity of thinking, a worldview difference between you and the other people in your team. This means that we don't just look at gender and culture, but we look at a variety of different diversity lenses, if you like. These lenses might include sexuality, they might include physical ability and disability, they might include age and different generations. You might also want to look at socioeconomic background, family status. You could look at education and professional development. I think two that are also very overlooked are personality. You know, the difference between an introvert and an extrovert, the difference between somebody who likes to work in a team and somebody who doesn't. And then finally, team functioning themselves. There are many different profiling tools and models that will help you to understand that people are very different, not just on a few criteria, but on a variety of different categories of difference. As a team leader, putting a team together and trying to get the benefit out of different worldviews and different approaches and mindsets, you really do need to be thinking about this broad range of diversity. Which leads to the second issue that needs to be rethought. And that is that diversity is often just thought of as a compliance issue. Maybe in your country there's an actual legal requirement to have certain types of diversity at certain levels of your organization. And so diversity just becomes a checklist, something that we tick off, and then when we see we've got the right people in the right spaces, we think we've done our job. But we need to go well beyond just that level of diversity. In fact, that level of diversity is more like variety. It's like a zoo. You've got all the animals, they're all there, you can walk around and tick them off, but they all have to be in their own little cages. They don't survive as an ecosystem. They need a lot of external referencing, they need a lot of external resources to come in and make the whole thing work. To get real value from diversity, we've got to move from a zoo mentality to an ecosystem mentality, kind of like a wild or a safari park, when all the animals are interacting in their natural environment and they're able to work together. Now, that doesn't make it nice for everybody. The antelope still gets eaten by the lion, but when the antelope dies, it gets eaten by the little bugs in the grass. It becomes fertilizer for the grass, and the lion is exactly the same. We know the circle of life, if you like, and we really need that circle of life in our businesses. And that circle comes from looking for not just variety, but looking for inclusion, looking for diversity that actually brings business benefits. So do you have a zoo, or do you have an ecosystem? Are you getting benefits from diversity, or is diversity just a headache for you and your team? If you need some assistance in making sure you move from the zoo to the wild, and you move from a compliance and risk mindset to a benefits mindset, make sure you contact our team and talk about leading difference with one of us.